Hey everybody, in this lesson video we're going to be doing Hey Jude by the Beatles, which is an amazing song. Can't wait to learn it with you guys. Let's get started. Now this song is actually a relatively easy song for beginners. It's using really simple chords, D, A7, G, so really great for beginners. I'll show you how to do kind of a simplified strumming and also a more, beginner intermediate strumming if you want to get into it a little bit more. Before we get into the actual lesson video, I just want to say thank you to some of the students, my YouTube students who've given donations. Sandra Grimes, James Burke, Richard Simon. Thank you guys so much for your donations. I really appreciate it. I put a lot of time into these videos. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Let's get into the verse and the strumming. So the strumming pattern, we're just going to use the same strumming pattern throughout the entire song. So the simplified strumming pattern, if I just played a D chord, so I'm on D major, would just be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. And you can do that for the entire song. If you want to spice it up a little bit more, you can throw a 16th note in there, and it would sound more like this. Again, I'm on the D chord. It's going to be 1, 2, and a 3, 4, and a 1, 2, and a 3, 4, and a down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. So that is a more kind of like beginner intermediate strumming pattern that you can use, again, from the beginning to the end, all the way through on this song. If you're interested in learning a bit more about strumming patterns, make sure to check out my beginner guitar course where I go through lots of beginner and intermediate level strumming patterns. So the verse, there's really no rhyme or reason to the chord progression. We've got a D, an A major, an A7, another D. Then we go G, D, A, D. So we got this 8 chords, and then fortunately it does repeat after that. So it's D, A, A7, D, G, D, A, D. All right. And if you don't know A7, it's very easy to go from A to A7 because all you have to do is lift up your middle finger. So A, A7. So if I play through that verse, we've got remember to let her into your heart, then you can start to make it better. Really low for me. So that is kind of how the verse goes. And this is a piano song again. A lot of Beatles songs are piano, especially the ones written by Paul. So just go nice and slow and get that hand, the wrist, we want the wrist to be relaxed. We don't want to be digging into these. This is a gentle song, so be gentle with your pick. And if you're finding you can't be gentle with your pick, use a lighter pick, but it's down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. And that was that's the 16th note pattern. If you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to give me a like, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So once we get through the verse, the next section is the refrain, and we have a little bit of a split measure. And of course, this refrain doesn't really, repeats a little bit, but because of that split measure, it doesn't repeat. So let's talk about what happens in the refrain next. So the refrain starts on D7, which means we're going from a D major chord to a D7 to start the refrain. It's kind of like a weird transition if you've never done that before. It's D to D7. So you might want to practice that transition to smooth that out. But the chord progression starts with D7, G major, E minor, A7, and D. Now for A7, since I'm coming from E minor, I'm not going to adjust my whole hand. I've already got my second finger on the top part of the A7 chord. I'm just going to use my third finger to grab the second string at the second fret. Little bit different because usually we would have the first finger and the third finger, but here I'm using the second and third. So I'm adjusting the chord because I'm coming out of an E minor chord and it's easier. Let me just show you that on a close-up real quick. So here I am, I'm on E minor, and you can see this finger's already in place. So why move my whole hand? Guitarists are lazy, all right? So keep it simple. Lift up the first finger and just put the third finger down, and you've got A7. Instead of having to move, usually we would make it this way. That's what we did before when we went from A to A7. But going from E minor, just a little bit easier to do it this way. So once you go to that A7, we have D, and then the pattern repeats a little bit. We have D7, G, E minor, A7, D. And then at the very end, there's kind of like this tag where it's a half measure of D7 and a half measure of A7. And because I'm going from D7 to A7, I'm also going to use the second and third finger. It's just, all I'm doing is taking this shape of the D and I'm moving it up one string each. Why move any more than you have to? It goes like this. Da 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 da. And then Hey Jude, up D, Jude, gotta hit the right note. So again, we got that D7, la da da da, la da da. 1, 2, 3, 4, Hey Jude. Okay, we're going right back into D, and then 2, don't let me down. Then we got A7, back to D. Now the second verse is shorter. G to D, and then to the A, and then we end on D. All right, so the second verse is a little bit different in the progression than the first verse. And then the next part is, once again, it's the refrain where we go from D into D7, okay? And we go through that whole part, and then there's another verse. And then we get to the very end of the song, which is the best part of the song. You guys know what it is. It's the na 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 part, all right? Everyone loves that part. So the chords are going to change. We actually change keys here. So we're not just sticking to D, A's, and G's. There's actually going to be a C chord that comes in, which hasn't come in the song before, which gives this section a totally different feel. So the chord progression for this song is D, C, G, and D. And we're going to just use the same, the same strumming patterns. I'm going to use the 16th note one because that's what's most in my muscle memory. So we have na, 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 Hey Jude. And then we just repeat it again as many times as you want to. It's really fun. Na, 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 na. And then we go to G. Na, 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 Hey Jude. And this is where they just start going crazy and screaming. Da, 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 da. And yes, you can start improvising with your strumming at that point if you want to. I'm not going to go over what I was doing there. I don't even know. It was just muscle memory at that point. A lot more up strums came in at that point. I just want you guys to keep it simple. That's why this is a beginner song. But you can see, so we're just going through the verses, through refrain. Those are the two sections of the song. Finally, with this outro with the na-na-nas, and you can do that as many times as you want, especially if you're playing live for an audience. If they're really into it, go through it a few times. People love singing those na-na parts. I know, I love to sing them. Well, there you have it. That is Hey Jude by the Beatles. I have a lot of other Beatles songs in my playlist. If you want to pop over, I'll put the Beatles playlist if you want to see some more songs. YouTube's also going to suggest another video that you might like. Hopefully, I will see you guys in another lesson video. Thanks so much. Have a great day, everyone.